I see what you're doing with those introductions now. I understand your schemes. Thanks so much for inviting me, Matthew and James. It's really kind of you to be thinking out that way. And I'm really proud to be in Albany with Erwan and Colby also. Sense 1, mutts. Sense 2, smut. Sense 1, a customer buying smut from Living Delights. Sense 2, a license. For a license, a scaffold, a customer, a crystal bench. You're benched. The cold on an unpleasant experience is not benched. It's fresh, faster. It's only going to hurt. You're driving up to spirits. Keep in homely pocket, pesh, frothing tissues. Use Lucy, olfactory, old flame patience. Old style, old time, 3-ply. A firm, plush name I'm in fear of. Pumpkin? Merely a thought, darling. Let's tell the operator that Big Mouth Mary cores her pumpkin as if global, indefinable, notated, utopic, blood guilt chore that adorns according to a sense that images must make mistakes in expanding, even in restraint. Said, okay, a production. Checks amount of pumpkins out there gets verdigris. Made a mistake when I bought the object. All I man from without. An end hush. An end hush mistalking. An end hush what sought past. My forearm rattled at the clinic. Invalid. What a tattler. All these chip crumbs unpoised to absorb a tongue-heart canopy should be entire reams of abstract finance presence performed upon the face. Want me to want what? Softest metal in come prong. I want shit. Let he be a proof, nor pain rebel. That's part of some long, strange thing that I'm not going to read the whole. This poem is a translation for a project I've been chatting about, this book of Shakespeare sonnets that has just come out from Telephone Books. So it's their first perfect bound book. They were making, they've had 2 journal issues where they're translating one specific poet, and it'll be, like 10 to 15 different translators. Interpretations of that, translations of that poet. Anyway, these are all Shakespeare translations. They've asked different people to do English to English translations of the sonnets. I'm speaking in a very direct way, right? I've had so much wine tonight. You're great. Okay.
Have some.
Yes, I'll just have a little bit more, and then it'll be fine. Luckily, I have paper to depend on. With words on. Okay. So this is my translation of Shakespeare's Sonnet 59, and I don't have it. My face in thine eye, and thine in mine, is true speech, and is, I read naturally, is male. And if I did not look, but basketfuls of presumptive eggs all wet do nothing for us playing at it. If and is don't lack for harmless napkins like freed, unending time bleeds through the washed away. In mine, sun's dulcet polishing of a sleuth, as much falsity as I can use, I carry. On the level, a proposition to disrobe contra shit on the streets steams near a hot spot, a relationship, a sign, a man pinned to your back moves a name I'd armament, but in a flageolet stitch I'd do anything for you, so. On the level, she ran her car aground as his ships firing agony in sand magnetized black screens of mice Her car okay, though. It hurts. Hoodwinked. And the image in form is a book of art writing by Adrian Stokes, and also in Malina. The fact is, I've never been happy, but I have seen beauty. What a fine replacement. Blubbery and dying in my same as breastbone for you is some fixed charge waiting for papermate to stir a conditional tense apparition, or is that a coffee? Tedious wall. Clouds are rather of soap, sea and hath sense since torment and hydromancy bothered to tune. More if must be, more if I'd be into it, I said I'd do whatever. What would she of the unmistakably Gothic appearance write me? I'm losing my mind with probity, presumably forever? Sure, I like most care more than fucking Tiffany's rattle, inlaid with, let's book it to Alpine, if a diviner knew you then too, as I do. I wish she would tell me what to do with you, or if I did look, how marvelous to see you. Post-screening makes true hearts and plain faces rest more larding and accurate, or whether revolution be the same. In 1938, hotspot was employed in the firefighting sense, and whitish smoke employment gives other women illustrates finitude on screen, a labor of demand. If other women wanted finitude over touchable repetition, or if I beat salad, or roast new potatoes deeply in salt and oil, and exclaim their spits as an otter might shriek the slightest unattitude vocable across your hunks in Pisces comportment, or with happens in trying an apartments to go mad in, surely it's been nothing near this terrific face. I never in real-headed defenestrate. Okay, this next piece is, again, sort of a strange excerpting of a larger one called The Flatbed. At this point, that's what it's called. Yeah, it's very, basically, I'm not interested in explanation so much, but I kind of do. It's a collection, sort of haphazardly collecting of various writers and film people who I admire obsessively, and that language. That's called Napalm and Pudding, painted on the wall, born in and lived for many years as a portrait of a girl looking as if she were alive. Every year she came back for 8 years, and beneath the granite slab, death lingered on, and repurposed it to feel a part of it, another angle, through the bay window from the garden. That poor injured soul, on the 8th year, she did not come back, and she never came back again. Walking arrogant from target, sightseeing, and conversation, I slumped at her way of describing something. For example, I saw to my left a flutter of certain damaged liaisons, wings, rather, of benefit brown, and it was a bird slowly dying against the anguished brick and ecstatic ground that seemed suddenly to have met there all along. Not to relate it for the purposes of elevating my personal experience to anything symbolic for incidental or even destitute to emotion was heart mine, art mine, and that's have mercy. Am I living for it or barely? And should I stomp the bird to death? It was dying gradually with its eyes on me, and 311 never entered my mind. Could 311 have saved this trope from its, 311, I only called you to tell on people. Where's a shoebox when a small animal shows itself to be a private being? The dropping of the daylight, the bough of cherries, broke in the orchard for her. Oh, sir, she smiled, no doubt, whene'er I passed her, but who passed without much the same smile? This grew, I gave commands, then all smiles stopped together. There she stands, as if alive. Will it please you rise? I'll guess at your resolve it is about behavior. Might you unplug every spasm each day, no matter to machinic speak, but hell, no matter the non-knowledge I live in baked Hyperion fear of. That hair dryer organized nothing toward my drinking perfume and telling it was your Deus ex careful watch. We police ourselves called revision. Are you silently singing while I talk? Said the doctor to her husband, then later to her patient about lying to her husband. Sure, I can speak like a politician, sexually deceiving a row of leaves, sort of hemmed to bushes and thundering at our heels, sort of shadow roses, shadow cremated against a desire to inflate, an awful thing to do with a star like you moment, took time out. Sweeps for the Brits, visiting him in work scene. During sex scene, we all fell down. I swear he fell lazily, I fell similarly. It was on a foreign earth between roses and shadows, my shadow sparse of leaf and guarantor of a humiliated bouquet, incompatible yet formally appointed. Then she gave him an update. Sure I can. I got a high waist and water belittling a national deep focus. To have a strong local station, you've got to have access to the things that are going on in the rest of the country and in the rest of the world, so the audience tunes over and is willing to stay with you. Is this big enough to be made up of itself yet? I thought. That man knows all about the curiously mingled sense of identification and alienation felt when you can see yourself die. Only in an enormous interior, inevitably the knack, the movie, cramped the play with its banal set of film gimmicks constituting liberation, for which I should be grateful. Q. Do you ever think of me? Why do you not write? Why do you not start? Is he prompt? Shakespeare freed me from Brecht. Come, thick fabric, into a conception. Unrolex your Felician letter. In a word, he wrote, it was an establishment of purifying the theater so it is unreal in a manner proper to them. My friendship with you is permitted dissent. Trying to acquire what dogged figure got killed in her late 20s, she accessed a memory and in mock adoration wrote so entertainingly of, call me, I think it was. It followed hard upon, don't call me. I don't need permission to live like some people do. Maybe I do, but don't call me. I am not as strong. A brilliant green is all I can say. A brilliant green. I'm not saying hi-fi, radio, bandaged to her waist, all corsets hooked by Hermes and Lee Miller. Foremounting her horse to flash past the high-rises and in all the wet streets, not a one to be found. Not even where's mommy now? All children inside the house of constant voting, tiny ivory ovaries plus pecs. True, incorrect to their ambitions so far. Perfect, C, spoilt. Justice is a woman detective. C, invade. Clearly not I, nor your, nor yet love. Showy, C, darling, with Julie Christie sweat. A division in thinking we love is not a ridiculous upswing in the end. I am opposed to bringing everything onto a social level. More at home in the American art scene and the German theater scene than would be in the American theater scene, American artists are building a bit on the foundation of the Vienna actionism, so to speak, except that the Viennese were so dead serious, while the Americans shit on everything. But to make 'em laugh, take yourself for night, isn't that a wonder? Now, to milk the ram, to translate nailed own inutility into light as air, to always use something to designate time passing, to wait for the word manger, to get dressed like I'm 70, to start with a problem someone could have. I like to talk about obsessions, good taste equals personal taste. I'm surrounded by heroes. I wish I treated them well. Scratch their heads for them as they watch Judy think she's in a fix in a kind of Alaska, having slept for 30 years and can't find the public TV, nor do I presume anything is all right to do. Thanks very much.